Moment. Okay, Steve, who's your money on this time round? Let's see if your pockets are long.
I think Emmett again, you know, he's sort of been consistently quickest on race tyres all weekend through practice and through qualifying, and he's obviously very strong, and it'll spur him on even more. He's got a real point to prove in the second race, so yeah, for sure, my money's on him.
Neil?
I think Gregorio Lavia is going to be at the front. He's learned a lot in race one. He'd never seen the track till Friday morning.
Okay, well,
Lavia is going to be at the front.
I would go with Emmett, but I think I'm going to go with Smarty for a win here now. So the red lights come on. When they go off, we're underway straight away. That's a great start from John Reynolds. John Reynolds got it rolling really well. But look at this, through. Oh, dear me. Well, Emmett has just forced his way straight into the lead. Sean Emmett blasts through. Sendo Ducati of Dean Thomas slips back to second place. Michael Rudder got a good start, so that Honda clutch is definitely sorted. Who's that that's out of control on the
Mason,
Yamaha?
I think
Mason, it
James
is.
Hayden.
Right in the middle of it. Whoever it was, I know that Steve Plater was sitting up, that's for sure, in here, and he's not even riding the bike. Wow, there goes Gregorio round the outside of Rutter, or was it? Oh, big one there from the Sendo Ducati.
Thomas.
There's Dean Thomas down the Sendo Ducati, goes down. Looks like he clipped the rear end of Sean Emmett's motorcycle. It's a fast old part of the course, but luckily nothing hard to hit. So Dean Thomas, wow, what an upset for him. That's a disaster. His first ever pole in British Superbikes, and he hasn't been able to convert it today. He'll be disappointed. Let's take a look at this now.
Coming out of Seagraves, second position there, just in front of John Reynolds.
Lost the back,
pitched him over the front.
Tell you what, JR was lucky.
Very lucky.
If he'd had a good complex, he would have been right on the rear end of Dino when he did that. So Dean Thomas, it's quite a long walk back from there, but look at how that's let Emmett off. Well, Steve Plater, didn't you just know?
Yeah, without that was a big crash. That's the last thing you really do need. I believe Glenn Richards is suffering from a broken arm. That's why he's not out there on the grid. Thanks
for that, because we hadn't got that piece of knowledge. And Glenn Richards, you saw in a big accident coming out of that chicane there, or coming through the middle of that chicane there in race one. So the likeable Australian out, but it's left to the other hawk, Kawasaki, of Scott Smart, who at the moment's in 5th place on bike 88, but no doubt about a leader. It is the Monster Mob, the embarrassed Monster Mob Ducati man of Sean Emmett that leads at the moment. In second place is John Reynolds, then it's Michael Rutter, then it's Gregorio Lavia deputising for Yukio Kagayama, and then it is the 88 Hawk Kawasaki bike of Scott Smart. There it is on your leaderboard. And Mason, Gary Mason, is up there in 6th place, the best of the Virgin Mobile Yamahas at the moment. James Allison, look at that, on the Gentin Racing private bike in 7th place, from James Hayden on the other Virgin Mobile bike, deputising for Steve Plater, who's here with us at the moment. Kieran Clark, good result from him on the Colin Appleyard Hydrex bike there in 9th place. Tommy Hill, another one of the Yamahas in 10th. Then it's the V-Trans Honda of Coxall in 11th, and Sam Cork, another privateer, in 12th place at the moment. But all eyes are on, no doubt about it, the number 5 bike, the Monster Mob bike of Sean Emmett. Look at Gregorio Lavia. He's all over that motor. He actually loves that bike.
He really does. I think this track suits big guys as well. He's a big guy, really strong, got lots of leverage, and I really feel you have to muscle bikes around here. That bike's very fast up from church. Not quite fast enough to get past Michael Rutter, but
not far
getting
off.
Very close, and I would think next lap he's definitely going to have a look.
So the Spaniard in 4th place, for those of you that wonder why he's called Gregorio Lavia. Really is, of course, Spanish.
Lives in Helensburgh, big Spanish.
And he lives up near Glasgow, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's incredible, and he shares the same accountant with me, so he's obviously very careful with.
He's obviously making lots of money as well then. So Michael Rudder, fastest lap, 1:16.329, and if I have a quick look, the lap record is 1:15.8 by, well, irreplaceable Steve Hislop. He did that in April 2000, so that lap time of Stevie Hislop's just goes to show you how fast that was.
Steve was stunning that year on the R7. He was absolutely, it was typical Steve, online, inch perfect everywhere, and went very, very fast on the R7 Yamaha.
Mega accurate Steve Hislop. Still out front though is Emmett, but Emmett is being reeled in by the unbelievably determined John Reynolds. I mean, he will not want his 6th second place in a row, will he? Mind you, he's spinning that rear end up. He's got a long way to go in this race yet.
Yeah, you know these tyres are going to work good in the opening laps, but it's the second half of the race that counts. But he's fast up here around the outside of Sean Emmett.
Well, that is a riding lesson. I didn't think he'd be giving Sean Emmett at that particular point of the racetrack.
A little bit wide though, he's slow through the chicane.
Do you know what? I love the little ripple of applause that you get from the grandstand that's just there. I mean, you can actually hear it's almost it's like being at a dinner dance.
That's helped Michael Rutter. Michael Rutter up to second.
Rutter goes through, gets the drive. He's the one that got the cleanest chicane exit, and he benefits up into 2nd place now on bike number 3, the HM Plant Honda.
I reckon in this race, Gregorio Lavia will sit behind John Reynolds.
Why? Has he had a slap? Do you know something we don't know?
No, but
in fact, what was the team orders that you never told us about in the race one?
Well, to help John Reynolds, but really, the first race was an aggregate result, so it didn't matter that he was in front of him. Really, he had to try and track down Sean Emmett.
So he was under team orders to help John Reynolds?
I can't really confirm or deny that.
You puss. Steve Blair's having a good laugh. Go on, talk us through that then. Do something you can do.
Out of church, John Reynolds got a brilliant drive, went round the outside of Sean Emmett, and John is good at these passes, but he's just a tad too fast in there. Ran wide at the second part of the chicane, and Sean regained his position. John Reynolds lost lots of time, and that cost him another position because Michael Rutter got up the inside into turn 1.
Rutter had the drive. Rutter holds on to that second place, and he's going for the outside on Sean Emmett. Sean Emmett is going to have to work out his strategy at the club chicane. Perfect line, but it ain't going to be good because he's going to leave a gap up the inside soon for somebody. He's got a freight train behind him. It is Ducati, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Yamaha. What a great scene that is.
Good to see the Yamaha up there.
Yeah, isn't it just? Steve Plater's sort of happy. But
no, I'm happy, all right. You know, I just want to see the thing. I think it's capable for the podium now, and it should be there.
Do you know what? I'd be happy if I was you. You're taking all these weeks off, taking in the sun and all the rest of it, while they develop your motorcycle into a race winner. Perfect.
I just love watching. It's so easy.
Not.
I was talking to Steve earlier, and he said something interesting. It's been good to have a bit of time off, just to see things a bit from the outside, to go in with maybe a different plan of attack to help get the bike sorted.
Well, let's hope it all works for you. We'll see you back very soon, of course. But right now, it's Sean Emmett that's doing the business on the Monster Mob Ducati. I would suggest that, well, he's not a shooting man, is he, Paul Bird? But he might have been up for taking a shotgun to Sean Emmett if he performs in the manner that he did in race 1 today. Emmett did everything right in race 1 until he did it all wrong, coming out of the last
in
corner.
front of Reynolds, so there goes the team orders theory.
Yeah, well, that's so much. Obviously, they don't tell you everything that they really know in Rizla Suzuki. You're not really part of the team then, are you?
Because I'm on telly.
Don't know a single thing that you're talking about. So Gregorio Lavilla is... Oh! He tripped up Reynolds. That is going to be very bad. I can't even cover that. I'm sorry.
Well,
that is just...
really unfortunate.
It was unfortunate for Lavilla tripping up John Reynolds, but Lavilla picked up when he got to the rear end of Rutter.
I really don't feel that Lavilla should have been in front of John anyway, but there you go.
No, well... Checking his collarbone there to see if his collarbone's still moving. That has cost him dearly. He was the leader by some 27 points into this championship.
He had to pick it.
Yeah.
Lavilla had to pick the bike up because Rutter braked earlier than Lavilla expected. Yeah. Unfortunately, John Reynolds was on the outside.
I didn't want to blame Lavilla for that because it wasn't actually his fault. It was a racing incident, but the fact that he was there in the first place, you need to question, don't you?
Not good.
Mind you, I have to tell you that if it'd been Yukio, he'd have been there.
Yeah, but Yukio is in contention for the championship.
He's holding that shoulder. That is bad news.
Lavilla is not in contention for the championship. It's a total one-off ride. Yukio will be back for Brand. So
I can't justify it, even though I'm trying to at this particular point. So Emmett is let off the hook at the moment from John Reynolds. Now then, Michael Rutter is looking at here a massive jump in championship points over the man that was leading the championship, that is leading the championship and will still lead the championship, whatever Rutter does today, but it will be a massively reduced championship lead, courtesy of his Spanish teammate, Gregorio Lavilla. I don't suppose you'll be giving the Think Rider of the Day award to Gregorio Lavilla after all then,
I don't
Neil.
I think I could, but I might face a sack tomorrow from the Rizla Suzuki team. So
yeah, it might be one less job you have to do on Monday.
Let's rethink that Rider of the Day award.
I think, actually, to be fair, it sounds like I'm putting you under pressure with that. You'd already told me who your Rider of the Day was going to be, so you'd already pretty much decided it, bearing in mind that this race hadn't run yet, so and Lavilla didn't feature, so it wasn't going to be a Rizla Suzuki rider anyway, just to try and take the pressure off you there, Neil. Emmett up front then, from Michael Rutter. Rutter has got to get it all absolutely right. The only way that Gregorio Lavilla is going to redeem anything from what he's just got himself involved in is by winning this race and minimising the points that Rutter can get. Would you agree?
I would certainly agree. Really damage limitation now, and if Gregorio Lavilla can get to the front, well, get in front of Michael Rutter, that's really all he can do to redeem the situation. But I really don't blame Lavilla, apart from the fact that he was in that situation. It wasn't a riding error that caused John to crash.
Well, can I ask you then, by your team, that you were involved in this talk that was going on this morning as Rutter looks to the outside of Emmett, but they all stay in absolute station. Can I ask you very quickly if the team orders were given strongly enough to make sure that Lavilla knew exactly the point of view of the team, bearing in mind he's Spanish, bearing in mind it's not his team, bearing in mind he doesn't deal with these guys normally? Very quickly, Neil.
No, it wasn't a strong order by any means. It was really a conversation to say John's leading the championship, bear in mind you may be able to help him, but that was really where it ended.
Okay, open to interpretation, and the interpretation obviously was lost a bit on the Spaniard, but he's in third place at the moment on the 71 bike, subbing for Yukio Kagayama. I'm certainly going to pick the pace up here in commentary now, because we've got a great race in front of us. Sean Emmett actually leads at this moment in time from the Honda of Michael Rudder, the Asian part Honda of Michael Rudder. It's Rizza Suzuki of sub Gregorio Lavia in the doghouse at this moment in time, I'm sure. But then it's Scott Smart, the winner of race 1 in Mondello on the Hawk Kawasaki, from almost unseen Gary Mason. Gary Mason had a good ride here last year, and that is the Virgin Mobile Yamaha right in the hunt of the top bikes in this race, and that is a great scene to see. Rob Mack will sigh, well, a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best performance by far by the new R1 Yamaha. Mondello Gary had a bit of a run at the front, but dropped back towards the end of the race. But this is a really inspiring ride here at Thruxton, although at the moment in 5th position, but looking really good.
I'm sorry, but that was Rutter just testing the brakes of Sean Emmett on the outside. Closing right up was Gregorio Lavia. Closing right up was Scott Smart, who just had a bit of a sit-up in the middle of the chicane there. And then it's Gary Mason on the back on bike number 6. James Ellison is in 6th place behind this lot, a long way behind this lot, but he is a privateer, remember. He leads the Privateer Cup, but he is the next best Yamaha. Great stuff again from James Ellison on a Gentin racing bike, but we are at the complex. Still Emmett. A lot of pressure on Sean Emmett here, because Michael Rudder, no mug at all, 30 years old now, really does have the tools to do the job here at Thruxton. Different construction front tyre, just to get the bike to turn a little different in this race compared with race 1. He still won race 1, but he was lucky. This time he's going to have to race for it.
Certainly looks like it's made the difference. Certainly in the opening laps, Michael Rutter's been stronger in this second race, looking very comfortable, very confident. Sean Emmett, number 5 in front, not able to make a break. And as you said a couple of laps ago, Michael Rutter testing his brakes, testing his braking, passing potential into the final chicane after this church corner.
Look at the R1 in the slipstream. Now the Kawasaki pulls out of the slipstream of Scott Smart, goes by Scott Smart up into the braking area. Scott Smart, though, very confident on that Kawasaki, as he was last year on the Kawasaki brakes. Really does pull it down hard on the front end, doesn't he? He likes that thing stopping and turning. Looked good at Brands Hatch earlier on in the year, and Gary Mason there still a little bit tentative compared with Scott Smart, but Smarty is one of the best on the brakes, Neil.
He certainly is, and that ZX10 Kawasaki looks like a bike that can really ride hard. It's very nimble, doesn't get out of shape, works really well, particularly in tracks like this where it's a rider's track.
Still Sean Emmett then. Redemption will be his if he takes this win for the Monster Mob Ducati boys. And that will do his championship standings a whole load of good, as John Reynolds' championship aspirations have been halted in race 2 today. So Emmett, if he can get 25 points, he needs no less than 25 points. He's really got to do it. Rutter is going to be in a good position anyway with the 20 points over the luckless John Reynolds, because Reynolds will not score now.
James Ellison on that last lap, he's down in 6th position, but he had the fastest lap on that last lap at 1:16.808 on another R1 Yamaha, but on Pirellis.
Fastest lap of that lap, but the fastest lap so far of the race has gone to Rutter, 1:16.3.
Rutter had a look at Sean Emmett as he passed him.
Oh, dearie me. Oh, Gregorio. Glorious Gregorio Lavia. He would be known as, if he hadn't got tangled with John just a lap before ago. That was a great move.
Just on the exit of Church here, you see Michael Rutter getting alongside Emmett.
Emmett, 1st to 4th, all in one move. I'll tell you what, I wonder whether, if he loses this race...
Here we go, he had a look there at Emmett saying, I'm just passing you, I'll see it, and about Gregorio Lavia had a different idea. He got past Emmett, into Rutter's slipstream, then down the inside on the brakes. Incredible.
But good fast manoeuvres are what Grand Prix boys are used to. British tracks are very tight and twisty. There's John Reynolds on his way back with the doctor at the moment. There's Paul Denning. Yeah, not a good day for you, Uncle Paul, that's for sure. All your
Paul
good work ruined.
He was speaking to him this morning, said he hates race day mornings, and we can see why, because the potential
for disaster
is always there for disaster.
Right, out front then, Gregorio Lavia. Like I said earlier on, a win and nothing less will might, does that make any sense? Will might redeem him from the wrath of Paul Denning when he makes it back into pit lane. So, out front on Yukio Kakayama's bike, it is Gregorio Lavia. Rutter in 2nd place, Scott Smart in 3rd place, Sean Emmett in 4th place. Still, Emmett really has got to do a little bit more than that. Through the chicane, we're on lap 11, we're about to start lap 12 of the 20-lap race, shortened from 22 to 20 laps, just to get us all back on schedule.
Look at the back of this group. James Ellison's
Ellison is
catching
closing in. Yeah, James Ellison.
He's half a second a lap faster.
Again, he's on Pirelli tyres. The only difference is he is on Pirelli tyres compared with everybody else's Dunlops. And, of course, the Michelin of Michael Rutter.
Mason's out.
Look at that.
Sat up at Church Corner and pulled out for some reason.
So Ellison is fifth overall, sorry. He is fifth overall on the running order. He is the fastest Superbike Cup rider. That's for the privateers there, and he's closing, hand over fist.
That bike looks good.
This will be. Do you remember this at Alton Park last year? James Ellison right there for a win when he'd slid off.
No, it was his brother, Dean Ellison.
Oh, it was Dean, was it? Oh, well, slapped wrist.
On the Ducati.
It's the only time you've really woken up today, hasn't it, to get me?
Thanks,
I stand corrected.
He's coming. That R1 Yamaha looks good.
They're both actually good standard motorcycle racers, Dean and James. Oh, here we go. Slipstream City out through Brooklands now, onto Woodham Hill. Who's it going to be when we get to the last chance chicane? It is Rutter on Levere on Rutter, but coming through. Oh, no, he's not. He's going through the grandstand, I think. Sean Emmett.
Long way round.
Yeah, the long way round.
And he made it.
To make it. Yeah, he's pulled down Scott Smart, and James Ellison is now on the back of the bunch. James Ellison is there to fight for this position. He's got Scott Smart at Allard already up to fourth place. What a result we have got coming here from James Ellison. This is going to be a special kind of a ride. He came from so far back. Well, Bernie Tolman and the boys in the Gentin Racing team are going to be leaping up and down.
I want some of them patches for my head.
Yeah. We'll put one on the front as well, shall we? Still Rutter out front. Levere in second place. Emmett in third place. They cannot believe what's going to be hitting them in a moment. It's number 17.
This guy
Yamaha
James Ellison can win this race.
He could win this race. And wouldn't that be a shot in the arm for Pirelli as well? Pirelli, of course, have been developing tyres throughout the World Supersport Series. They are a one-make tyre franchise now in World Supersports. It's a contentious issue as far as a lot of manufacturers are concerned, but Pirelli slung their ring in the hat with that. And there are only one or two people running Pirelli tyres in this race. This is one of them, right up there with the boys at the front.
And the other one, Craig Coxell on the Vitrans Honda.
Craig
You've got to think, if the tyres have got to almost two-thirds race distance, that they're going to go all the way.
Gregorio Levere getting a bit of his own treatment.
Dear.
Oh dear me. Over the line we go.
Helps James Ellison.
He's right there with them now. James Ellison, they won't get a drive-through for that. There was no gain and no loss as far as anybody was concerned in track potential, but certainly Sean Emmett was running really hot in there, and he took Levere out. Well, I think Levere could have made the turn if he hadn't managed, Emmett hadn't managed to sit up. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to record this as Emmett's chicane, I think, because it's he's had more dramas there than anybody else today.
He hasn't lost that much time because he's almost right on the back of Michael Rutter again.
Rutter still leads on the Edge Implant Honda. That man there, James Ellison, is in fourth place. He is a privateer. This is not a works motorcycle. This is the fastest racetrack in the Think British Superbike Championship year, and it is a privateer that's right in there with the hunt for a win here today. He's in fourth place. Keep an eye on him. Fourth place, but he really is in a winning position. He's dropped Scott Smart through those long, fast right-handers, Neil.
He's looking good, and just when Rob Mack was getting a smile back on his face, Gary Mason out of this race for some reason, retiring.
And a privateer on a Yamaha is the best Yamaha. Yes, I take the on Pirellis. Yeah, that's going to be like a slap in the face, isn't it, really, for Rob Mack?
It's so good. It's so inspiring to see that a privateer can build a bike and mix it with the factory guys.
There's his girlfriend. And that says it all, really, doesn't it?
He's good into Allard.
He's good into Allard, isn't he? Makes it work there. He's making Sean Emmett work, who's in third place. Three still leads. Michael Rutter on the HM Plant bike. Then it's the Rizzo Suzuki of Gregorio Levere. We're on lap 15 of the 20. There goes Ellison up the inside, very nearly at the complex. And we see the disasters there as well. Gregorio Levere has snuck through while we were watching Ellison. Gregorio Levere did it on Rutter. Well, I got a bit of a teaching lesson regarding Rutter has got the fastest lap, 1:16.329 still. That was done on lap 2. I got a bit of a language lesson from Perry Reba in the Supersports class, who said Rutter is Spanish for rat. Make of that what you will. He no rat, he hamster. So, still Levere making that Suzuki spin now in second place.
There goes Ellison.
Oh, a Church corner through the back markers.
Fast
Ellison,
Michael Rutter.
Done Rutter. Through goes Emmett. He got the better run on the back markers.
James Ellison second. for a second.
Yeah, Scott Smart round the outside for third place now. Ellison on the inside. Oh,
Levere touched James Ellison.
He did. He's a tough old cookie, isn't he, James? I should say Gregorio Levere. He really is muscly down at that chicane.
Wow,
maybe he knows he's only going to be here for one race and he doesn't mind getting a thick ear at the end of it.
What a reshuffle that was.
Can you keep up at your age? See, Plater's here, but his tongue's been hanging out and he hasn't taken his eyes off a monitor yet. He's not saying a lot.
I'm lost for words.
I'll bet. I'm not surprised. Rutter still leads. Let's take another look at this little melee at Church. It's only 120 mile an hour through the middle of that corner.
The back marker in the middle of the melee, I think, is that Kyle Bryce in the middle of the Matt Church there on the Honda.
Kyle Bryce qualified for the first time in the Superbike since he switched from the R6 Cup up to this, and really he found himself with them all over him a bit quick, didn't he? Couldn't do much about it except keep his line.
Poor guy.
Down into the chicane then. We're on lap 16 to 20. Well, Church again. Oh, that's a fair old...
Ellison's back to third.
He is back to third place, but I was thinking of the lead that Emmett now has. I'm a little bit shocked that Emmett has managed to get through them back markers quite that quick and use it to that amount of success. Smarty comes underneath. 17, James Ellison goes back a place, back to fourth place in fact. Fifth is Gregorio Levere on the Rizza Suzuki, but out front number 5 is the Monster Mob Ducati of Sean Emmett. Ellison is done over by Levere as we are at Allard. Now we go down to Campbell, and then it is the Campbell complex. Very tricky little section. One silly mistake and up the road you slide. Still Sean Emmett out front. Paul Bird, well, had a bit of a enlightening situation in the truck awning yesterday where they were playing with fire, singed his hair and his eyebrows, and today not a great first race for him and Emmett. Emmett deciding that he would take the swing at the team for not hanging out the board that he thought would be right, but really the mistake was all his. One hand on the handlebars, lost the rear end as he accelerated to the line and lost the race accordingly. But this time round, Sean Emmett surely will make no mistake. 33 years old from Weybridge in Surrey.
Sean Emmett definitely sliding around the least over the last few laps. His lap times have been really consistent, about half a second a lap faster than the 4 behind them, but looking really good on that 9.9.
A good day for Rutter and the championship, though. You've got to say that Rutter really has the most to gain here. Emmett is not a threat in the championship at this particular point. John Reynolds is. And well, he having tripped over the rear end of Gregorio Levere, his sub-teammate for today.
If Michael Rutter finishes in this position, he'll be 8 points behind John Reynolds in the championship, and that is a serious clawback today.
Indeed, especially considering Rutter, well, he's not in winning ways, really, is he, at the end of the day? Today he was fluked the first race win, if you don't mind me saying that, by Sean Emmett's mistake at the last bend. He would have only have finished third in race 1 had he not been fluked that particular situation. Meanwhile, let's not talk about flukes. Sean Emmett it is. He has been the fastest man in each of the races today. He should have won both races today. This one looks pretty much like he's got it under control, but I use my words somewhat reservedly, having seen what happened in race 1 at the end of it.
We got Ducati leading here, Honda second, Kawasaki third, Suzuki fourth, and a Yamaha fifth. How good is that?
Just goes to show you the strength of the Think British Superbike Championship nowadays. But I still think that that ride from James Ellison as a privateer on a privately entered motorcycle in a very underfunded team compared with all the other Yamaha setups, great stuff from him. Scott Smart conserving that third place at the moment. In fact, there is only the Hawk Conservancy just up the road from here, isn't there? Bit of a wide old link there from me, but Emmett leads, Rutter second, Smart still third, down at the complex. Ellison seems to have settled a bit at the moment for that 5th place behind Levere. There is Levere on the 71 Rizza Suzuki. Yukio Kakayama will be watching this race. We'll be happy to see his team, well, take on someone like Gregorio Levere, and certainly see Gregorio Levere competitive at his first ever time on this bike at this track. But he will be severely unhappy at the melee that Levere found himself in the middle of, effectively taking out his teammate John Reynolds. when JR is the man that leads this series. Still Emmett off the front. He had a 7/10 of a second lead at the end of the last lap.
Whoa, there goes Lavia.
Yeah, lighting up the Suzuki.
Look
Look at that Yamaha. Well, Rob Mack will be down there checking out to see what's in that.
Well, the Pirellis are not doing a bad job. Three tyre
Pirellis
manufacturers in the top 5 as well. That's
Well, Pirelli, you might have thought, might have been the weaker of the tyres, considering the strain put on them here at Thruxton, but no way is the Pirelli a weaker tyre here. I've just heard, Steve Plater came in there just then, I've just heard from the medical centre that we have a suspected broken collarbone from John Reynolds. You saw him walking away from that crash at Club.
oh, contact.
Lavia, well, it's supposed to be not a contact sport, but Gregorio Lavia, he's the leader of the Spanish Armada that we have here at the moment, and he's just fired a broadside across the bows of...
Well, I reckon all that'll do is fire up Scott Smart even more to launch an attack.
Be interested to see if we have any
Last
rather
lap.
severe fisticuffs towards the end of this race.
I'm just wondering what Sean Emmett's lap board said in the last lap.
Yeah, keep both hands on the
Hold
steering.
on.
Oh boy,
Oh, this chicane will be
dramatic.
interesting.
Final lap, final corner here at the church. Right hander onto the Brooklyn straight now. Who's it going to be? We're in for a big sort out for 3rd, 4th and 5th places. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Scott
Emmett's
Smart's
gonna
having a
win it.
go.
Scott Smart's really
Long way
outside
round.
Lavia, but Lavia is going to hold that surely. No, he ain't. Scott Smart. Oh, is he going to out-drag him to the line? It's going to be Emmett, though, that redeems himself with a
Lavia
second
third.
race win. Lavia gets 3rd, but it is Rutter in 2nd place. Smarty gets 4th place. Well, he's a bit of a battler, Gregorio Lavia, but in the end, no one can touch Sean Emmett. That's his girlfriend walking through the pit. She must be relieved also. Wow, Emmett, from hero to zero and back to hero again, all in one day. What can you say? Superbike race of the day. Sean Emmett redeems himself with the win from Michael Rutter, who will go to within 8 points of championship leader John Reynolds. Gregorio Lavia, having come into contact with John Reynolds, finally finishes in 3rd place. His teammate doesn't finish. Scott Smart 4th. James Ellison, the best of the privateers, and a superb ride for 5th. Tommy Hill, Kieran Clark, and Ryoichi Kiyanari coming back from that broken collarbone fairly well in 8th place. Craig Coxall on the V-Trans Honda. James Buckingham, John Kirkham, Stuart Easton gets 12th place today, but we're told we will not be seeing him racing for the rest of the year on the ETI Ducati. That's how it looks from that point of view, and this is how it looks now from the championship. Dramatically changed after John Reynolds crashed and has, I add, a suspected broken collarbone at the Club Chicane. Michael Rutter closes in 2nd place. Scott Smart 3rd. Superb for Scott Smart by just 1 point now from Yukio Kagayama, who slips to 4th. Emmett 5th on 146. Dean Thomas, Kiyanari and Richards. That's a championship at the moment. But the privateers, the Superbike Cup, James Ellison extends his lead now massively over Dennis Hobbs, who's yet to win a round yet in this series. Ellison is brilliant.